Why do we call the headlines we read every day on our phone, news feed, on TV, on websites, in the papers, why do we call that the news? We should be more accurate. It's the bad news. We talk about all this bias in the media, liberal, conservative, this or that. What's the most fundamental bias in all news? It's mostly bad. There is a tremendous underlying bias in everything we call the news towards negative things. This is one of those things in our culture that's so pervasive we no longer see it. It's that old story, fish don't know they're in water. The things we're most steeped in, and therefore the things that affect us the most, are usually or often things we aren't even aware of because they're so fundamental and because they affect us the most. 1 million acts of kindness are done every day. There are organizations, projects, people out there trying to help, making progress, inventing things. Think about all the things that could happen in a city, all the beautiful 1 million acts of kindness and success stories. You turn on your local nightly news, what are you going to see? The store that burned down. Now, I'm not talking about ignoring negative things that we should be aware of that could impact us. In fact, I'm talking about being more aware of negative things, and one of the negative things to be aware of is that we're flooded with bad news. Why is this important? Because it starts to seem normal, and normal becomes acceptable. Humans have an amazing capacity to adapt to whatever situation they happen to be in. It could be, from someone else's perspective, awful and unthinkable, but the person that's used to it adjusts and makes it normal. What we've done in our culture is we've made negativity and bad news normal. We've made doom and catastrophe normal. This is especially tough on kids. Everyone, including kids, have an innate desire to flow their energy out into the world and to help. If we're presented with all this bad news, doom, and catastrophe, it presents a wall of hopelessness. It doesn't give that energy a place to flow because we start to feel like it's all hopeless. There's so much negativity and bad news and doom and catastrophe that there's just nothing we can do about it. So what does that lead to? Depression, a feeling of hopelessness, a feeling of I can't do anything, it's too huge. Imagine looking at our news sources every day and seeing all these examples of people doing things in the world to help. Just one example, I saw this on 60 Minutes, which is great. Sometimes news agencies do cover wonderful things. A man named Gregory Carr made a fortune in technology. He visited this Gorongosa National Park in Mozambique that had been ravaged by civil war, wildlife populations reduced, infrastructure in ruins. Carr committed more than $100 million of his own money and invested decades of effort and completely restored the park. And then he went further and reached out into the surrounding local communities to help with jobs, healthcare, schools. He partnered with the Mozambique government. What if we saw things like that every day, all the time? What would that do? It would open up channels through what is now a wall. People would see all these opportunities and places and possibilities where they could flow their energy and their helpfulness. Is it any more of a lie than what we're looking at now? No, it's about focus. It's about where we focus. And by the way, why isn't what we're looking at right there news? It's always changing. The leaves are always waving in unique ways. The clouds are always coming up with some new beautiful formation. Every sunset's a little different. That's a lot of good news.